Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemal Shah Bashem Wakakwadash. Shalom to the hopefully elect out there. And I'm going to entitle this video, I will breathe, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. What does the breath mean in Ezekiel 37? See that right there? Ezekiel, valley of dry bones. And this is what Ezekiel saw. That's what he actually saw. He saw a valley, a lowland. These are mountains. This would be considered a valley, a lowland. And low meaning low as far as altitude is concerned, and low as far as morals are concerned. So why is Babylon the Great known as a valley? Because morally it is low. It's a low land. You see what's happening with the happy people out there. They're pushing that thing around the world. Anyway, so just as I did in previous videos and other individuals that did pretty much responses to videos concerning the prophets didn't know everything, or we know more than the prophets. What Ezekiel saw, he saw in a nutshell. He saw this time that we're living in, starting with Abba, going to the seven, with the chief three, which is Arya, Masha, Arya, and Yaquab, and then the rest of the seven. And we here at the former members of the One West, myself, the other apostles, the various other camps out there, the ones that are out there on the highways and the byways with the 12 tribe sign, whether they didn't necessarily come up under One West, but they came up under individuals that were part of the original One West that knew the seven. Like, well, you got Sakari. Sakari's not part of the One West, but Sakari, the leader Sakari, came up under GMS, started with GMS, and it was a back and forth. And in that time period, people began to follow him, and he has his own group called Sakari. You have Wi-Fi, which definitely started, watching the videos of different One West camps. I'm pretty sure he watched most of them, if not all of them. But they did come out when it was small to our camp, and they were going to Sabak's camp. I don't know how many other camps. They did ultimately speak with the unity camps, which I'm not in agreement with the unity camps, because you got to speak the same thing. That's scriptural. They were in a unity camp along with Sakari and maybe some of the other camps. And so all of these different groups that you see that's on the highways and the byways with the fringes on, the t-shirts, and new thing is the t-shirts with the fringes on it, and the 12 tribe sign, they all stem from One West in one way or another, right? And you have Israelites that are not a part of any particular camp, but they watch us. The women watch us, the different men, individuals, youngsters watch us, and that represents the bone. So that's what Ezekiel saw, which he didn't understand what the hell he was going on. He didn't know that the valley that contained those bones, he didn't know that was Babylon the Great. He didn't say, "Oh, well, that's Jeremiah's vision of Babylon," no, which is America. No, he didn't know that. He didn't know. He did not have that understanding. Let me do this. Let me do this right here. No, I'll do this later. No big deal. I was going to take a snapshot of it. See what happens over here. Hey, I'm not going to wait. No, I'm not going to wait. Anyway, let me get your pens and pencil paper out, because I'm gonna give you a lot of precepts. I set this up. I put a lot of precepts together, so I'm gonna let the precepts pretty much speak. So I'm just going to open up with Ezekiel 37, verse 5. And this is a beautiful chapter. I know the chapter by heart, but it's beautiful to go. It's like singing a song of a favorite song. You know, you in your mind, you driving to work, and you heard this song that you like, or an old song. You heard another car pass by, and the song was playing, and then you start singing it to yourself, and you pretty much realize, oh, I remember all the words of the song. So, you know, when we go through these breakdowns, as we call it, it's like singing an old song. So sometimes it's good. Sometimes you go into precept upon precept, of course. That's what Isaiah said, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little, line upon line. But also it's good to go into the whole chapter, because it brings you other precepts. It leads you to other places. Okay, let me see here, Ezekiel. Okay, I'm already here. What am I doing? Ezekiel 37, verse 5, and then we're going to go to 10. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this here. Okay, breathe. Breathe. Okay, that's 6 times. So what I'll do is I'll read all 6 times that it's mentioned. In what? In about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 verses. Okay, so I'm going to read. Okay, I'm going to read 25th verse down to the 10th verse. Oh, it says right here, the vision explained. And even all of the Daniel, the various prophets that Ezra's, John on the Isle of Patmos, these prophecies that they saw was explained to them, but they still didn't understand what it meant. We understand it now perfectly. So when we say we know more than the prophets, what I mean was the prophecies that they wrote down, that they scribed down, we understand. They didn't understand. So if we can go back in the time machine to Jeremiah and tell Jeremiah, tell them what this means, Isaiah, to tell them what that means, you know, they would listen. But we are those prophets coming back. Don't ask me who I am and who this brother is and that brother is and that elder over there. I don't know. I'm sorry, Ezekiel 37, verse 5. So we're dealing with the word breath. I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. If you don't receive this breath, you will not live. If you lose the breath, you will die. In the spirit, because Jake is dead in the spirit. Ezekiel 37, verse 5, thus saith Yahweh the Most High unto these. Oh, and if you have this breath, you're going to praise Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So it behooves you Israelite groups out there, you former One Westers or people that stem from following other former One Westers, praise, praise the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's name. Praise his name. He wants praise. Don't call him Jesus. Don't call who's the King, Christ. That's not his name. He doesn't answer to that. The Father's name is Yahweh and the Son's name is Yahushai. It says, thus, even this, I was watching Hassan Campbell last night. He was showing a clip from this video. They were in the barbershop. I forget the name of that, the handle of that video, but they were in the barbershop. And Dame Dash was in there and he was talking about the Lord, Jesus. And then after he said Jesus, he said Yeshua. So he knows, Dame Dash knows that Jesus is not his name, that his name is in the Hebrew, but he says Yeshua. Yeshua is not his name, it's Yahushai. Yahushai. As anybody that comes up and says Yeshua is his name, so you ask him, do you know the Hebrew? He said, yeah. So what does the Yah mean in Yeshua? Most likely he's not going to know if you break the name down. So now let me stop yapping and go into this. Thus saith Yahweh the Most High unto these, there's lessons within lessons. Thus saith Yahweh the Most High unto these bones, which are the Israelites. And this prophecy is coming to pass now. So vocab alone, you need to shut the hell up. Because if you're saying that, if you're using that concept of replacement theology, you're saying that, oh, at the end of the thing, the Israel really represents the body of believers. You can be of any nation. So is this talking about that too? No, it's talking about actual Israel because it says it. This is the whole house of Israel. It says, thus saith Yahweh the Most High unto these bones, which are Israelites, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Gad, Issachar, Reuben, Asher, all the tribes, Naphtali, Simeon, Ephraim. Behold, I will cause breath. What is the breath? And we're going to find out. By the end of this video, you're going to find out what the breath is. The breath is 100% truth. We hear GMS say we have 100, and you got Israelites that get these guys going around saying they got 100% truth. Ain't no camp got 100% truth. Well, what if all these camps disappeared and we were the only ones left? Then you can't get the full truth. We say we have 100% truth because we have the breath in us. We damn sure have the breath in us. It said, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Yahweh the Most High unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath, the true knowledge of the Most High, which includes his name, and you're going to see that. There's the precept on that if you have the breath of the Most High, then you should praise his name. Cause breath, 100% knowledge, to enter into you, and ye shall live. So you got some of these camps that are half dead because they don't have the whole truth. And I will lay sinews upon you and will bring up flesh upon you and cover you with skin and put breath in you. There it goes again. And ye shall live. So in order for you to live, the breath has to be put in you. When you have to be resuscitated in the hospital, they jumpstart your heart. It tells you in the Apocrypha, I believe it's a Wisdom of Solomon. I was going over the scripture about an hour ago where it says there's a breath in us and a spark. What is a spark? An electrical current. That's why when somebody looks like they're going to die, or that, what do you call it? That what do you call that shit? That heart line, whatever the hell you call it, heartbeat line goes. What they do is they jumpstart you. They say, okay, clear. They jumpstart you like you jumpstart a car. And it's the same concept. When you jumpstart a car, the energy is in the battery, but it's slightly below where it's supposed to be to start the car, which is called cranking amps. You know, if it gets too cold, your car won't start because it doesn't have enough cold cranking amps. That's what it's called. So the same concept with a car as with the human body. The human body is like a car, like a machine. So they'll take, and they always have two pods or whatever the things that you hold. One represents the positive, the other one represents the negative. You know, the red goes with the red, and the black goes with the black. And you have to have the negative is a ground. You got negative wire, which is a ground wire, right? So it says, and I will lay sinews upon you and will bring up flesh upon you. The flesh is your nationality, because you got plenty of Israelites that know that they're Israelites, but they don't understand the breakdowns. You know, when the Charagma comes, they're not going to understand what it's talking about. You have a lot of Israelites out there, Jakes, that know that they're Israelites, but they don't understand that this place that they're in is Babylon the Great. They don't accept the northern kingdom, as we call it, as the scriptures call it. And covered, so they don't have the breath. They have somewhat, they got the skin on them, the flesh, but they don't have the breath. or they have very little breath. They're asthmatic Israelites. That's a new one for y'all. And cover you with what? With skin, and put breath in you. The first thing you do is you acknowledge that you're an Israelite, and you start to learn. You grow thereby, as Peter said, and you begin to learn how to breathe. Breathe, dog, I had to say that. And put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know. So having the flesh upon you, and the skin upon you, and the sinews and the bones coming together, you have an idea. You kind of identify with the Israelites. You might not go full Israel, but you kind of identify with us. And ye, well, the proof was Dame Dash when he said Jesus, then he said Yeshua. It says, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. You know that you're an Israelite. You say, you know who the Edomites are. You say Edomites can make it. You don't have to fool. You're an asthmatic Israelite. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise. And what's the noise? Us being out there on the highways and the byways, us doing the videos, and at midnight there was a cry made, Matthew 25. And behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. So that's what Ezekiel literally saw. He actually saw these bones coming together. And he actually saw, like them sci-fi movies, you know, with the, what do you call that? The CGI, computer graphic imaging, I think it's called. CGI, computer graphic imaging, where they can make things look like a monster. It's really a computer image, right? That they animated. So Ezekiel saw sinews, the bones coming together. He saw sinew. He saw the blood. He didn't mention the blood. He saw veins. He saw the heart beating in the skeleton's chest. Then he saw blood, not blood, blood within the body, and the skin was covered on it. And he saw, he looked around. He was looking to the left, looking to the right, looking behind him. And he saw these bones coming back together. And then later in the chapter, the messenger says the Lord says, these are the whole house of Israel. It says, and when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up on them, and skin covered them above, but there was no breath, in them. But there was no breath in them. So you got a lot of these Israelites that know that they're Israelites, African Hebrew Israelites. Like they let Canaanites and, you know, Sudanese, different Israelite. The commandment keeper, you had Hamites, and you had small hats, a part of the commandment keepers, man. It says, 9th verse, then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh the Most High, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. These people coming from Central and South America, those are the Israelites coming in. Another peaceable multitude. 2nd Ezra 13 and 40 on down. 10th verse. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them. The full knowledge came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Not a physical army with guns, but a spiritual army. Our warfare is not carnal, but spiritual. See what happened with the situation with the ISUPK and the IUIC? Neither group was spiritual at all. Neither group. Now, IUIC can say they're more justified, but are you justified in the spirit? Are you justified in the spirit? Sound like a title of a damn gospel song. No, you wasn't, because you should have. The scripture that should have came to mind was, uh, why not take wrong? Why not be defrauded? If they come, I'm paraphrasing Matthew 10. If they prosecute you in one city, then flee into the next. So did not ISUPK prosecute you, or did you prosecute ISU? Either way. One of the groups that have said, we're going to take the wrong and we'd be out of here. And it might take 6 months for them to find, there they go, let's go sit behind them. Then you just close up, and then you go to someplace else. And it'll probably take them another 6 months to a year to follow you. You know? They ain't gonna follow you to Nigeria. Y'all should have just hopped on the plane and went to Nigeria some goddamn where. What? they weren't gonna happen though. They said, fuck that, we ain't going to no goddamn. There's nothing but Hamites out there, according to them. 11 verse. And then he said unto me, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dried, and our hope is, prisoners of hope, is lost. We are cut off of our parts. And see, this is why the One West carries around the 12 tribe sign, because it's right here. You had to put together the 12 tribe sign so they can identify who they are on the sign, the coming together Judah and Israel. So you got an Israelite group, they don't prescribe to the sign, then the breath is definitely not in them. They just know that they're Israelites. They have no breath in them. So now, let's go to the first book of the scriptures, Bereshith Bara Ashiath, which means in the headings or in the beginning. The JJ say Bereshith, in the beginning, in the headings. Bereshith, Genesis 2 verse 7, and Yahweh, the Most High, Elohim, it says right there, but it's Allah Yah, power, formed man of the dust of the ground. The richest part of the soil is not red or sandy, it's brown, dark brown soil, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Man was already here. Adam came out of the Adamites, for lack of a better word. Go to Genesis 5 and read the first couple of verses. So man was already here. The abundance of man was already here. That's Genesis 1. You can start at, the 26th verse. It could be 21st verse, I believe. Matter of fact, let me do this. Right, 21st verse. And as you read down, it goes into the 26th verse. Let us make man after our own image, after our own likeness, which was the breath. Put them in order, give them the laws. So now let me come back over here. So man was already made, but man had to be a living soul, so he had to receive the breath to become a living soul. The breath represents the order of the Most High. Genesis 1 verse 21, let us make man in our image. The angels are in order. You got these crazy ass, wacky ass churches teaching that Satan tried to go to war against the Most High. Satan is doing exactly what Satan's in order, man. The spiritual demon Satan and the demons on the left-hand side are in order. They ain't out of order. They ain't fighting against the Most High. Next precept. And I put this in order. And no, not in full order. I put it in somewhat order. 2 Ezra 3, verse 5. Let's see what that says. Oops, wrong. Blue letter doesn't contain the Apocrypha, which they should. It should have the Apocrypha in it. That'd be beautiful if they had the Apocrypha. You go to the root words in the Apocrypha. Second Esdras 3, verse 5. I'm going to read it, the verse, and I might go into the context. Let me just read the verse, the 5th verse. And gaveth a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life. The breath of life is talking about the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Most High gave to Adam. And he was made living before thee. See, the scriptures speak about the congregation of the dead. If a Jake says they're Islamic or they follow the Kemetic gods or they're Moors, the Baptists and Methodists, they're really dead in the congregation, among the congregation of the dead. So let's read the 2nd verse. For I saw the desolation of Zion, which are the Israelites, and the wealth of them that dwelt in Babylon. So we know that's talking about ancient Babylon, Neo-Babylon, talking about 600 years BC. And my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said, O Yahweh, who beareth rule, thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commanded, actually was the angels led by Yahweh Shai. The Lord just gave out the order. The people, and gaveth a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And the breath represents the knowledge. You don't see that. It says, and thou leddest him into paradise. Paradise is the whole earth. The garden eastward in paradise. The whole earth. When Solomon had the Navy go to the Americas, America was a paradise. Esau made this place a wilderness, man. It says, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandments to love thy way, which he transgressed, going back to the garden again with Eve, and immediately thou appointed death in him and in his generations. That's why we die to this day, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. And that's talking about all nations. And every people walked after their own will and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. So why would the nations be saved? They're going to be saved to serve the laws, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, which is a shadow of things to come. That's what the Apostle Paul said. And we're going to be priests, not going to be the Levitical priests. All Israelite men will be priests, because our job is to teach the nations. So the laws, commandments, and statutes is part of the breath. The breath is also knowing the mysteries, the mysteries of the scriptures. which Esau scholars don't even know. They don't know what we know, but they watch us though. They checking us out. Believe that. So we're going to 2nd Ezra 16, verse 61. He made man and put his heart in the midst of the body and gave him breath, life, and understanding. Breath represents knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Life and understanding. Breath means the knowledge. So who are the only ones that have the breath on the planet Earth? The ones that have the 100% truth, that know all the scriptures. Real talk. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the blue letter. This is Job speaking. My breath is strange to my wife. Read that again. My breath is strange to my wife. That's why you really don't have women come around us in our circles. And see, that's a major mistake of the IUIC. They got a lot of those women that leave and they'll go run the vocab because they shouldn't have been in a circle any damn way. Especially when you're telling your men in your congregation, oh, brother, do you have a wife? Yes, I have a wife. Well, why don't you bring your wife around? Oh, because she's a Baptist. Well, you know she's got to be an Israelite. If she's not she don't know she's an Israelite, you got to give her an ultimatum. Now, just to be fair, however, I want to be fair. Inside joke. IUIC can come and tell me that, well, that's not true. That's a lie. Okay, if you can prove that to me, and actually say that's a lie, I'll come back and say, okay, well, I heard different. These women that whose husbands left them, stayed with the IUIC, and that they all tell the same story that they gave the husband gave the wife an ultimatum: if you don't wake up to this, even though we got these lovely children, I'm gonna leave your ass. So and that's a bad situation. So if you're teaching that, you're clearly going off, because the scriptures say you can't do that. You're gonna have unbelieving wives. And so the reason why they don't want to accept it, because the breath that you receive when you're learning about Israel, you telling your wife about it, is strange to her. She can't, what's the term? It's Greek to me. My breath, which is the knowledge, is strange to my wife. She didn't want to say, she said, this don't even sound right. Curse the Most High and die. Because what did Job say? He said, paraphrasing, he said, man accepts the good, but from the Most High, but he can't accept the evil. So you're gonna bail out because of hard times. They said, my breath is strange to my wife. I entreated, though I entreated for the children's sake of thine own body. Now remember, he prayed for his children that they be safe, right? He prayed for his household, his cattle, everything. And the Most High took from him and then hit him to the body. He said, oh, Satan said, okay, you took things from him, but you ain't hit him in the body. So he hit him in the body with them boils all over his body. And that's when his wife lost it. So this is not for women. The flock of my pastor are men. This is for men. Now you can go home and just, Your woman might want to, what are you doing? What's this all about? And you say, well, I'm an Israelite, this, that, and the third. Oh, I want to learn more about it. Then you teach her. You don't say, look, woman, you gotta go to this meeting here. Yeah, but my father, I'm a preacher's kid. See, that creates, see, a lot of problems are created with, I'm just talking about the IUIC because they do things outside the scriptures. They do their own thing. And that creates problems, man. You got the man just cold, left his kids and his woman, and she got to go to court, so she's forced to go to the damn devil to get you to pay child support or whatever the case is. Like I said, this is what I heard. Somebody from the IUIC can say, well, that's not true. We don't do that. These women are lying. Okay, well, I'll hear that, man. Let's go to Psalms 135 and 17. So I'm mainly letting these precepts talk. Hey, that's a good title for a video. Let the precepts talk. They have ears, but they hear not. Neither is there any breath in their mouths. So we know that that's not talking about actual breath. They're breathing through their lungs and all that. Their body, taking in air, letting out CO2 gases, taking in more oxygen. It said they have ears, but they hear not. Who does not hear this truth? The ones that are not appointed to hear it among Israel. Who is the Most High dealing with? He's only dealing with the elect. Neither is, and the ones that come into this thing and they're in this thing for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, and they fall off and go back in the world, guess what? The Most High took that breath from them. So they're among the congregation of the dead. Neither is there any breath in their mouth. Because in order for you to live, you have to breathe in and breathe out. Next precept, Job 34, verse 14. If he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself his spirit and his breath. So the breath is the spirit of the Most High by way of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The comforter is what? Is the breath of the Most High. Yahawashi breathed on the disciples. And we're going to get that precept too. I believe that's in the book of Luke. Well, I know it's in the New Testament. I believe it's in John. Psalms 104, verse 29. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou taketh away their breath. They die and return to their dust. Now, the dust is talking about confusion. They're going to go back to being a Baptist, being a Muslim, just being a pickpocket, a purse snatcher, a nigga that just went back to the hood, that got with his old people again. Let me read that again. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou taketh away their breath. And I said that earlier in this video. I said you got many of individuals come into this truth, into this walk. They get their garments, they come out, they speak, they go to the precepts. Some of them are good teachers, some of them are great teachers. Then all of a sudden, they don't come around no more. You see them fading away. because the Most High took the breath from them for whatever reason. It said, thou taketh away their breath, their knowledge. They die, meaning they can't see that they're Israelites no more. All these guys that came into this thing, I'm mainly focusing on the men that put in 5 years, 10 years, or whatever the case may be, and they turn their back on this thing, they just become regular Negroes again. But they're not going to say, well, I better leave the country because I know this is Babylon the Great and it's going to be hit by missiles. They don't believe that no more. They don't believe that. They don't, if they was teaching that the Charagma, is what we say it is, they ain't saying that no more. They convinced themselves that all that Hebrew Israelite stuff was all BS. And some of the men actually run to Vocab Malone. And Vocab Malone is a lost soul. It says, and return to their dust. Dust represents what? It represents confusion because you can't see clearly. Yesterday, if you was in the New York area, I was out there. You couldn't see clearly. Everything was fucking orange, man. Everything was orange. And it caught me in the middle of the day because I looked at the clock. I said, it was like 2 o'clock. And I said, man, it looked like I had the shades halfway down. And I said, it looked like, man, the sun's going down. The sun don't go down to about after 8, almost 8:30. So I pulled up the shade and everything was fucking orange. And that was dust. So dust represent confusion. So you go back into that confusion. So now I'm going to go to Jeremiah 10, verse 14, which also Jeremiah 51:17 says the same thing. So all I'm going to do is read Jeremiah 10 and 14. Every man is brutish or stupid in his knowledge. That's why we don't debate these guys. Because what am I going to debate with somebody that your shit sounds stupid? We don't have to debate because we're convinced. Our thing is, if you can't see this, then you can walk on down the street. Oh, let's have a debate on it. We don't have to have no debate because I'm convinced. I don't have to debate you. You can go debate somebody else. It says, we have a job to do, man. Most I never said and that you go on these formal debates. We ain't got to go on a goddamn debate. Now, sometimes you're out there in the street and somebody come up and they say, well, I don't agree with that. Well, that turns into a little impromptu debate. It said every man is brutish in his knowledge, stupid in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. So they either show you a graven image or they are the graven image. And like Bishop Nate coming on a horse, he's a graven image. That's why they said General Nathaniel Alagar's spirit is in all of your spirits. Wait a minute, that's some man-God worship. That's a demigod. Look that word up, demigod. Demigod. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can find that. Bring this over here. You know what? Let me do it this way. Take out my smartphone. Easier to work with. Demigod. Bear me for a minute. Okay. Demigod. Try it again. Bear me for a minute. demigod.
With partial or lesser divine status, such as a minor deity, the offspring of a god and a mortal, or a mortal raised to divine rank.
A mortal raised to divine rank. when Nathaniel got up on that horse, he was a mortal raised to divine rank. All the general Nathaniel God's spirit is in all of you. So they clearly going off, man. And that's why you notice they got this whole back and forth going on with the ISUPK right now. And that happened after he got off the horse. He should have stayed on that horse. We ain't in our glory, man. We ain't got no crowns on our head yet. We're going to get them crowns when the job is done. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. And some of you become the graven image. For his molten image, which could be him, is falsehood, and there is no breath in him. That's why, the leadership of the IUIC, every time we do a video on the Charagma, he's got to do a counter on it. And he's making himself look stupid. Inside joke. Let me go to the word brutish. Let's see what the word brutish means. Brutish, meaning it's going to burn. You come with that bullshit, the Most High is going to set it on fire. To burn, consume, kindle. Anyway, just come on back. Psalm 150, verse 6. Let's see what that says. Let everything that hath breath. The breath is what? Let's go back to Ezekiel 37, 5 and 10, or read from 37, Ezekiel 37, verses 5 to 10, and it speaks about there was no breath in him, right? Once you have that breath in you, which represents the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High, from the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakakwadash, it says, let everything that hath breath praise Yahweh. Praise ye the Lord. Now that word praise ye the Lord in the Hebrew is hallelujah. Let's see if that comes up. Right, it says halal, 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 yah, halal, yah, halal, halal, yah, hallelujah. And Yah is Wa and Ha, which is short for Yahweh. You got some Israelites that call him Yah. Jah, right? Jah, which the word is short for his full name, Yahweh. It says Jehovah, which is Yahweh, no J in the Hebrew, no V in the Hebrew, in the shortened form. The proper name of the one true power used in many compounds. Names begin with the letter. Now it says J, right? It's really Yah. And they're telling you right here, Yah. Even he says it pretty much right. Let's see how he says it.
Strong's H3050. Yah. Yah.
Yah. He did say it. He did. Yah. It shouldn't have no W. He said Yah. Yah. Right, because you got Yah, but then you got the Ha, so it's Yah. 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 Hawa. Yah. Yah. Let everything that hath breath, the knowledge of the Most High, praise Yahweh. And the word there is hallelujah. 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 You got people in the church saying hallelujah, and they'll say, it means praise ye the Lord. So ask them, what's the name of the Lord? Well, God, Jehovah God. No, wait a minute. You when you say hallelujah, what are you saying? These people don't know nothing. You saying praise ye the Lord. It's for short. You're saying what you're supposed to be saying. The correct way, the proper way of saying it is hallelujah Yahweh. Hallelujah Yahweh, not hallelujah, but hallelujah Yahweh. So that's how you get them churches to understand that the name, when we say, well, the name of the Lord, well, see, my pastor said his name is Jehovah. They don't know nothing. Them black churches don't know a damn thing. Real talk. Habakkuk 2, verse 19. I should start at the 18th verse. '18th verse. What profit the graven image? Like I said, the graven image is also a man. You can have a man that people worship. He's the image. He's the image that they're worshiping. But he can walk and talk and breathe and eat and go to the bathroom and sleep and get up. He's the image. Oh, not my pastor. No, not my pastor. What they should say is not my idol. What profit the graven image that the maker thereof have graven it, the molten image, and a teacher of what? A teacher of lies. Sometimes that teacher of lies is the image that the maker of his work trusted therein to make dumb idols. This is what I wanted. 19th verse. Woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, or to man, to the dumb idol, stone, arise. Because when they set up them charagma stations, you're going to go to your idol, which is a man, and you're going to ask him, what do I do? And if he tells you, go ahead and take it, you can take it, you're going to be all right. You're going to take it because your idol told you to take it. It shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver and sometimes purple, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. Because if you don't have 100% truth, then you don't have the breath. You don't have the breath. But Yahweh is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Shut the F up. Isaiah 11, verse 4. We're letting the precepts speak. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. Who's the meek of the earth? We the cursed ones. Let's look up the word meek. Let's see what meek means. It said poor and it said meek. The meek shall inherit the earth. Another way of saying it, Daniel 7, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. I na, poor, humble, afflicted, cursed, meek, poor, needy, poor, weak, afflicted, humble, lowly, meek. We are those people. Now, some of us is coming up out of this state that we're in. You come out of the state, you remain humble. Okay, let me. The hell, give me a second here. Give me a second here. Let me try it this way. Right, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first. Ultimately, the time of Jacob's trouble is happening. 70 AD is going to happen again with the time of Jacob's trouble first, and that man of sin be revealed. He's being revealed, the son of perdition. Strong delusion that they may believe a lie, because you're going to have Jake they're not going to see it, no matter what you show them. Bear with me for a minute. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Who the mystery of iniquity is this man? A verse. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Who's going to reveal who the wicked is? The ones that were given the breath, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. Who's the spirit of the Most High's mouth? The prophets. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So before the Lord comes with the brightness of his coming, which he's coming with fire, he's first going to be consumed with the spirit of his mouth through the prophets. We're going to condemn this place. See, that's why you got a lot of these Christian Edomites coming up against us to get approval, because they're looking for a way out, really a way in to the kingdom. They're looking for a blessing. They're looking for, well, we Gentiles, we can be. And I was watching Vocab Malone. Abu was on there, and they were going through another book, and they got this Edomite, this older Edomite with white hair. I forget his name. I was even going to put some comments, but I said, I ain't going to listen to this crap. But anyway, the guy had found, he had a heavy English accent on him, and he found some more books that the One West put together. Change the World. I know that book very well. I got it somewhere in the house. So I said, damn. I said, you got Edomites that's not even from this country, losing sleep over the whole One West thing. And say, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So this represents us. And shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which is the breath. In order for you to condemn this man and tell him who he is, tell him he's an Edomite, this, that, and say that this is Babylon the Great, you got to have the breath in you. And that includes the MOTB. If you're not teaching the people about the MOTB, breaking it down the right way, Revelation 13, 16, and 17, then the breath is not in you. The breath is not in you. And you get the breath through the comforter, which is not the scriptures, but it's a part of the scriptures. Anybody can open up the scriptures and not understand it. When you get the scriptures and you one of the elect, and the Most High put the breath in you, then when you open the scriptures come to light. It doesn't come to light with any old body. There's a movie out, and Apostle Paul mentions it from time to time. He hasn't mentioned it in a while. The movie called Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins. That came out sometime in the 90s, early 90s. And it was based on him being in the Nam. And he ran into his buddies in the Nam after they came back from the war, but it was after the war, but it was an ongoing dream that he was in. It was a heavy movie, show you how the demons work, how the demons influence women. Like when your woman just loses it and just goes off on you, that's a demon, but you got to recognize that. You got to say, that's Satan. And then you say, I know that's you, Satan. I know that's them demons in you. And sometimes they'll stop and look at you. Like the demons done said, how does nigga know? Anyway, there's a scene in the movie where this guy, he says, he picks up the Bible. He says, you see this book right here? I read it, but it doesn't help me. And he was an Edomite. Then he hopped in a car and he went to start the car, and the car just blew up. So they were showing you a lot of, that movie was really for the elite out there to show you how the spirit world works. Okay. Bear with me for a minute. Let me let this computer's acting up again. Okay. St. John 20, verse 22. And when he had said this, you can read the whole chapter. He, the Lord, he breathed on them and saith, just like the Most High breathed on Adam, which is Yahushua, coming back. Yahushua is the second Adam. And said, he breathed on them and saith unto them, receive ye the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is also known as what? The Comforter. Is the spirit that comes with the book. So you have to have the book. You have to be able to open up the book and decipher what the book is saying. Decipher means to break the circle. Loosen the seals, which the seals are already loosened by Yahushua, mentioned in, spoken of in Revelation chapter 5. Start from the top. Because John wept much. So the angel said, weep no more, John, because the Lion of the tribe of Judah came to loosen the seals and sup with you. Revelation 3:19, around there. I think it's actually in the 19th verse. So you can open up this book and read the book till you're blue in the face. If the Most High ain't dealing with you, you're not of the elect, and he didn't give you the breath, you're not going to see it. You're going to act like you see it. See, a lot of these guys out here, they mimic what they learned from there. Like Priest Zabak, he mimics a lot of things that he learned from the elders. And he even said that. He said, I'm not going by this new stuff. I'm going by what the elders taught me. Well, guess what? All the elders went off. Well, some of them are passed. Mo didn't go off. Yaquab didn't go off. Ariel went off. Shaw went off. What happened to the rest of them? What they doing? They still living? What they doing? Lahab is teaching that Edomites and nations can make it. So you should question, you should question everything that they did, go back again. They went off on some things. And when we tell you that the Charagma is what it is, the MOTB, you can put your money in the bank on that one. You can bank on it. So one last scripture, this is from Solomon. Now we'll close on this. I went to the wrong site again. Really, you got to read from the 22nd verse to the 27th verse. But I want to get yeah, there's a lot of let me start from the 24th verse. Let me start from the 23rd verse. Kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding. Ooh, and going through all understanding. Pure. What does Proverbs 30 say? Paraphrasing that this word is pure. And you can't add or take away. And most subtle spirit. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her what? Of her pureness. For she is the breath. She is the breath. So what was Adam given? Breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. For she is the breath of the power. That's why the Lord breathed on the disciples. She is the breath of the power of the Most High and a pure influence flowing. Brucey said, be like water, my friend, from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into it. So as soon as somebody says, oh, Edomites can make it, we jump right off on it, man. Every time General Nathaniel Alaga makes a video about the Charagma, saying that it's sin in any forms, we're gonna do a counter to that because he's off on that. And hopefully, if there's elect among him that are taken by his wiles, they're gonna see it and they're gonna flee from him, man. If he don't see it, he might eventually see it. Just like he saw Cornelius as an Israelite. He didn't see it years ago. We saw it because we said that Cornelius was an Israelite. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.